Hey everybody, it's Greg Miliatis from StreamLine, and I want to talk to you in this video about collecting AR and how much of a pain it is, but there's good news because there's a better way to do it. So nearly all firms do basically the same thing for managing and collecting AR, and the dirty little secret about that is they basically don't do anything to collect it. And that's pretty unfortunate, but that's because it's so incredibly cumbersome, and it literally takes hours and hours to manage it. So sending, just as an example, sending even just one AR reminder email can literally take 5 to 10 minutes. So why is that? So let's talk about all that's required there. Now, the reason it takes so long to just send a single AR reminder email to a client, asking them to pay and here's what you owe and all that kind of stuff, it requires a lot of manual steps. So first you have to manually create the email, like open up a new email in Outlook. Then you've got to search in ProLaw, find the client's email address, go into contacts and find it. Paste that into the email as the recipient. Then you've got to type the email subject into the email and maybe got to find out what subject you want to use for it or whatever the template is you're going to use. Then you've got to copy and paste the verbiage into the email body that you want. Maybe you'll use a prior email or whatever. You've got maybe a Word document or something that has the verbiage in there. So you'll paste that in there. There's probably going to be some customization or personalization that you'll put in there. And then you'll finally send the email. The problem, though, is that's not usually the end of the story. Once the client receives the email, they're typically going to reply to you, and then they're going to ask you to send them PDFs of their AR statements, so the original statements, which then means you've got to go back into ProLaw, query and ledger for that client's AR statements. Then you've got to export each individual statement as a PDF, remember where you sent it, and then attach each one of those PDFs to the reply to the client and send that. So it's a super cumbersome, super manual process. Now, multiply that by dozens or hundreds of clients who owe AR. So you can see why it's so cumbersome and why firms don't really manage their AR. But there's actually a better way. So what I did is I created a tool that helps you do that. Basically manage all your AR. And it really answers 3 questions. How much AR is there? Who owes it? What's been done to collect it? And what do you want to do to collect it? Which basically means sending emails or making phone calls and logging those. So in this video, I'm just going to show you one task that the AR manager does, which is how you can quickly create and send all those email reminders to clients who owe AR. So let's take a quick look. Okay, so here we are in the AR manager, and I've returned all the AR for this little demo database to the AR manager. I won't go into how I did that. It's basically very simple. You put a couple filters in, click a button, and then bang, the data comes back into the spreadsheet. So just for our purposes here in this demo, so I can show you how I'm sending out the emails and what I'm doing here, so long as you understand that each row on this worksheet is a client who owes AR. So Leonora Carrington owes $82,000. I can see that in this total AR column. Foghorn owes $4,400 and change. So each row is a client, basically. So I'm going to do a quick triage just to filter this down. Again, this is my little small database. It doesn't have a ton of data in it, but for your database, you probably have dozens, hundreds, I've even seen thousands of clients in actual firms' databases who owe AR. So we'll do some quick triage here, and I'll just say that I only want to see clients who owe more than $500 in AR. So it's going to filter that, and I can see we've got maybe half a dozen or so. And then to choose who you want to email, you'll just do a quick little flag there for yes, and then maybe I'm going to send a couple more, and then I'll click the button to send the emails. What the tool does now is it creates the email, sends it out, and then saves it to ProLaw. So we'll wait for it to do its magic here. Okay, and the emails have all been sent, and I can see that they have been sent here, the date and time that they've been sent, and we can go and look and see in ProLaw, if I refresh this for Foghorn, for example, I can see the email is here, and I can preview it if I wanted to by clicking that button there, or the tab. It shows me the email, and I can also see who, this is my little data conversion professional, who created it or who sent it at what date and time. So basically anybody who wants to see what's been done to collect for this client can see what was done, by whom, and when. So let's go and take a look and see what the actual emails look like in my inbox. Okay, so there they all are, and we'll just look at Foghorn's email here. You can see this is basically a templated subject line. I can see the list of statements here inserted into the email with the total now due down there. We've got some payment instructions and information, the branding, and we've also got all the PDFs for the original statements attached to the email. So really cool, really easy. And again, this is just a handful of clients that I did in my little demo database, but for any actual firm that I've seen have AR, they've got dozens, hundreds, and even thousands of clients that they have to do this for. So this makes it super quick, super simple. So AR doesn't really have to be so much of a pain. It can actually be kind of quick and easy. So what you saw just scratches the surface on the AR Manager, and even just the emailing portion of the AR Manager. There's a bunch of other stuff that you can do with it. You can use multiple email templates, like your standard template or your sternly worded template. There's a bunch of things that you can do there. You can customize the email subject for each of those templates. You can customize the look and feel of the table of statements or a table of information that gets inserted into the emails. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can customize very easily with some of the settings in the tool. Other firms are already using the AR Manager to get paid faster on their AR, to get paid for old statements. And I mean like really old statements, over a year old. As they're sending out emails, they're getting paid for these old statements, which is super cool. And they're actually having to write off less AR. So much easier, much quicker. So it doesn't have to be a pain, but of course, you've always got the option. You could continue to essentially do nothing to collect AR and then keep explaining to the partners when they ask why there's so much AR. Or you could try to do it, manage it manually and all the steps that I mentioned in the beginning of the video, which generally, because it's so cumbersome, you're just not going to do it. Or you could start collecting cash faster and make your day-to-day job easier with it. So if that looks interesting or it might be useful for your firm, just give me a call or shoot me an email and we can chat about getting it for your firm.